Hi, I'm Stewie3D, and the purpose of this stream and subsequent YouTube video is to talk about the performance of the brand new 2017 HP OMEN 15 gaming laptop. So I'll fire up Grand Theft Auto 5 since that seems to be everyone's go-to game. I've had to capture it display capture because if I did it game capture, for some reason MSI Afterburner wouldn't capture any of the details. So you'd only see the game without any of the frame rate, and I presume everyone wants to see all the frame rate and stuff, since that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. What I have here, or what I'm playing on now, is the brand spanking new 2017 HP OMEN 15 gaming laptop. It's the new base model, and it's one of the new wave of laptops which were announced at CES this year, with the 1050 and 1050 Ti video cards in. Now, I have the base model, which is the i5-7300HQ, clocked at 2.5 gigahertz, with a turbo boost up to a maximum of 3.5. Also goes up to 3.1 on all four cores. 3.5 is the single core maximum overclock. It has 8 GB of DDR4. Now, this is a bit of discrepancy. HP's own website says it's DDR4 2133. However, my model, my one, came with 2400. If I go into HP System Profiler, it says I've got two 4 GB SK Hynix 2400 meg clips. So I don't know if mine's just got the wrong clip in. They've just put that's all they had on the production line, and they've just lobbed them in for the sake of it. And if the rest of them are going to come with 2133s, or if it's just a typo on HP's website. But pretty much every one of the new Omens say 2133. So yeah, I don't know. Either way, I've got faster performing RAM than it says. So I've got the i5, 8 gig of RAM. It has a 128 gig SSD, and it also has a 1 terabyte and 7,200 RPM hard drive, which offers actually pretty decent read-writes, to be honest with you. The machine and the star of the show, which makes it a gaming laptop, is the fact that it comes with a 2 gigabyte GTX 1050. Now, for this price point, this is the cheapest I have found a laptop of this configuration. I paid $799 for it because I think it was a typo on the website that I got it from, because a couple of days later they put it up to $829. Now, on HP's own website, this is an $829 laptop. Either way, at that kind of price, it's a steal. I'm looking at laptops with I'm looking at laptops with at the same kind of price, and from MSI and Asus, you're getting the new i5, but you're also getting last year's 960M, which the 1050 is supposedly about 30% faster than. So to get the GTX 1050 2 GB that I've got in here in an Asus or MSI, you're looking at around about £949. The closest competition to this, spec-wise, is the new Dell Inspiron 7667. Now, it's practically the same spec, apart from it's got 4 gigabytes of video memory, whereas I've only got 2, and it has only a 256 gig SSD. It doesn't have the massive storage drive, and it's £100 more. And by all accounts, it has got an absolutely terrible screen. So the minute you buy the Dell, you're going to have to crack it open and stick a new hard drive in it anyway, just so you can download some games. Because in the space of a couple of days on this, I managed to half fill the 500 gig drive, and I've only got 10 games. So so you're getting a lot of computer for your money here. Now, with regards to other laptops around at this sort of price point, There are some of last year's models kicking about for about £100 cheaper. You're looking at a 965M with 4GB of GDDR5. Now that is the one thing I am a little bit concerned about this laptop, if I was to have to say anything, is the fact that it's only got 2GB of GDDR5, which may present a problem in the future. Because if you look here, bear in mind I'm running this game at 900p, but if we look in the graphics, I am currently using over my video memory. It doesn't seem to present a problem general playing. As you see, it's pretty much smooth, locked at 60 frames a second because I've got VSync turned on. But occasionally on GTA 5 I do get a little bit of stutter, normally when I'm going into a multi-story car park and my processor pins at 100% but the GPU is not being used. So the problem, I don't know if it's the VRAM or if it's just badly optimized or whatever, but either way I've got this in 900p with the very high textures on, ambient occlusion and all that sort of turned on. In fact, here we go, I'll show you the settings I'm running at. So 900p, FXAA, MSAA turned off, all the draw distance and population density all cranked right up, very high, very high. See, so it's running at a really respectable graphics quality. And as you can see, I'm pinning it at 60 frames a second. You know, I'm just hammering it around the city where a lot of people would get performance issues. So the question is really, at £800, do you buy last year's graphics card with more VRAM? Do you buy a slower card with more VRAM, or do you buy the 1050 and hope that 2 gig is going to be enough current going forward? I mean, with Forza Horizon 3, you are already getting it popping up. Oh, low video memory, I can't run. Although, if you are willing to ignore the low video memory warning every 5 minutes, you can turn some of the settings up on Forza Horizon and have it look and play fairly nicely. In terms of read-write speeds of the hard drives, the SSD in here reads at 540 megabytes per second and writes at around about 180, and the 7200 RPM hard drive in there reads and writes at around about 120 megs, so it's pretty decent spec. As I said, you're getting a lot of laptop for your money here. It's, you know, a good piece of kit. Obviously, they have had to cut some corners. Well, I say cut some corners to get the laptop down to £800. And for me, these are in two areas. The first area, and the big one, is the screen. It's an IPS screen, so instantly better than the competing Dell Inspiron 7667, which, from watching YouTube videos, has an absolutely god-awful display. I mean, if you look at that thing at even a slight angle, the colours shift and they look awful. This, you don't get any such issue with that, thank God, you know, because it's IPS. However, I would describe this screen as dull. It's a lovely clear screen. Text is, I've got it 100% scale, and so the text is ridiculously small and it's nice and clear, but I would describe the screen as a bit on the dull side. It's not the brightest screen in the world, and yeah, the colours just look a little dull. You notice it mainly on reds. If I was to go on the BBC News website, it doesn't look as nice as, say, my old 2012 MacBook Pro. But if you can live with a slightly duller screen, and in gaming you don't really notice it at all, you know, because you're too busy focusing on the game. Generally, it's not bad, and as I said, it's a nice clear screen, and you don't have to worry about viewing angles. It's decent, you know, compared to the nearest competitor with this spec, which is the Dell Inspiron at 899. You are getting a much better screen. And the other niggle point, but this is obviously me going from an Apple computer, which I've been using since 2005 when I got my first PowerBook V3, is the trackpad. I don't like tap to click. I never have. I've always done the physical click, and I would describe the trackpad's click on here as, well, a little bit squishy. It takes a little bit of getting used to. Going from a nice solid click of the MacBook Pro, it's, you know, it's squishy. It's not terrible, and in fact, to be honest with you, I've had this thing a week and a half, and I've got used to it. And you know, it's a, you know, if that's all they've compromised on to get the thing down to this price, you're not got any problems really. Yeah, it's a good laptop. If you want to play with a nicer screen, you know, I've got a 4K TV in the front room. I'll just plug it into that, set it at 1080p, and let the TV do the upscaling. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the screen is going to be the least of your worries, unless you are doing all your media editing on it anyway. But as I said, for me, I bought this primarily to game on. You know, and a bit of light web browsing and stuff. I don't do a huge amount. I'm not a video editor, because you can clearly see the amateur hour stream that I'm doing. But yeah, overall for £800, this laptop is an absolute steal. I'm not going to, you know, edit video to show you what the thing looks like. If you just, it's the same. It looks exactly the same as the 2016 OMEN. It's sort of just an unassuming black laptop with some red accents, to be honest with you. You know, the keyboard lights up red. It's a nice, solid feeling keyboard. Keys are nicely spaced, so my big fat sausage fingers don't have too many problems with it. And yeah, generally, as a laptop, it's a nice machine, to be honest with you. With regards to thermals, as you can see, I'm hammering the hell out of GTA 5. The fans are going. They're not particularly loud. I sit on the sofa with this on a wooden chopping board to keep the vents on the bottom clear. And my wife will watch TV next to me, and she has no problems at all. It's only when the TV's off that she actually notices the fans that are going on this. So that's a testament to how quiet it is. I mean, as you can see, the processor has a maximum thermal rating, according to Intel, of 100 degrees, and I'm, 25 degrees off that. And the GPU is only hovering at around 70. So, you know, firm, and that is the hottest I've ever seen this machine get, to be honest with you. You know, so realistically, it's not a problem, thermals and stuff. And as you can see in the top left, the GTX 1050 has self-boosted all the way up to 1721, which is about almost 300 meg, I think, above what is officially the maximum boost clock. So it's a bloody good chip in here. As you can see, you know, I've turned the settings, as I said, down to 900p, but it's playing GTA 5 with, you know, a lot of stuff going on, and apart from that little stutter a minute ago, there's very little that I can complain about this. It's a really good gaming experience. I don't have too many overly demanding games at the moment. I literally downloaded the Forza demo just to, because I knew that was a system killer on machines with only 2 gig of VRAM, and that is the problem going forward for me. Is 2 gig of VRAM going to be enough? I mean, I'm happy to turn settings down as and when they're needed, like I am doing now. You know, I'm running it at 900p instead of 1080. And as you see, I'm still just over the VRAM limit, but it's not causing too many problems. For me, I spent ages looking for a gaming laptop. You know, I could convince myself I needed a flipping the OMEN 17 with the GTX 1050 and the i7. But after speaking to my mate Scazius, he convinced me, dude, look, just buy cheap. The fact is, you buy a cheap laptop, upgrade it after a couple of years, and by the time, you know, the money I've saved by not spending 1,400 quid over, you know, nearly double what this cost, I've already paid for the next laptop. So, yeah, that's why I went for a cheaper one, because at the end of the day, I don't know how much I'm actually going to game on it. I'm more of a console gamer, to be honest with you, and I wanted a console experience. But yeah, since having the wife and little one, I've not really had a chance to play on the console that much. The PS3 under the TV hasn't been used properly in, I would say, a good couple of years nearly. So I wanted something where when the wife is watching a crappy Coronation Street and all that crap on the TV, I could shove my headphones on and just sit next to her playing the game. You know, I'm still in the same room, so if she wants, you know, if I'm needed for anything, you know, especially with little one or whatever, I'm not being antisocial. And yeah, for that, it works absolutely fine. I mean, I've had this thing for about a week and a half now, and I've completed Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on it. I did that in about 3 days. According to Steam, I'd played it constantly for 32 hours. I've now, as you can see, I've completed this game, GTA 5. I did that in about 3 days as well. And yeah, it's not missed a beat, to be honest with you. As I said, with Forza, you have to turn the settings down quite a bit to stop the VRAM warnings, but with Forza, it still looks bloody lovely, even at the lowest settings, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's not a huge amount of difference between low and high. So, bear with me a second, let me just deal with these fucking poppers. Sorry about that, that was good fun. But yeah, in terms of build, it's actually quite a solid little laptop. It's plastic, obviously you're not going to get a premium metal unibody for 800 quid. But then again, you know, the performance is more than makes up for the fact that it's a plastic laptop. There's an helicopter about here somewhere. Bear with me. Ah, I got wasted by the damn thing. Oh well. But yeah, I put it next to my MacBook Pro when I first got it, and I was expecting gaming laptop was going to be a massive, thick, huge beast of a machine, and it actually surprised me. It was only ever so slightly thicker than the MacBook Pro next to, and it's not much heavier, to be honest with you. If you're just going to sit on your lap with a little bit of web browsing, then yeah, you can easily do that, no problems at all. I wouldn't want a game with it on my lap purely because the vents are on the bottom. You probably could, but because the main intake vents are on the bottom and these fans do ramp up to some pretty fast speeds. I mean, I've put my hand just beside the gap between the table and the bottom of the laptop, and you can feel the cold air rushing in. So it does have a pretty robust cooling system. So obviously you don't want to be gaming with it on your lap if you're going to cover half the vents. So yeah, but there you go. The 1050 though is a bloody good card. Oh, blame me a second. Turn the radio off. Yeah, the 1050 is a very good card. By all accounts, it's 30% faster than the old 960M, and it's about on par with the old 965M. And Dell are still selling the Inspiron 7559 with the 960M. Yes, it's got the i7, but they've still got the 960M, and that's still £800. So you know, it's a case of, do you want the faster processor and slightly more VRAM, or do you want the faster graphics card? And I would say this 1050 is a bloody good card. It's actually surprised me at how well it handles quite a lot of these games, to be honest with you. As you can see in GTA 5, it's not the graphics card that's letting me down. It's the VRAM. Not the VRAM. It's the processor. As you can see, it's pinned at 100%. But as you see, I'm getting very little frame drop, and it's just a generally smooth gameplay experience. The problem in the UK, unlike America, because I know a lot of you Americans will be like, oh, why didn't you pay the extra £100 to get the $100 to get the 1050 Ti? And to be honest with you, I did want the 1050 Ti. But over in the United Kingdom, we don't have any build to order options. You get the basic specs, what come from the manufacturer. So this was the cheapest. 829 is currently listed at. The next one up is 929, and it's the same spec as this, but it has the i7 rather than the i5. And to get the 1050 Ti, you're looking at £1,000. Same spec, apart from it's got the i7 with the 1050 Ti 4 gig. And it's £200 more, and I don't know whether it would give me £200 more performance over this. If I could have spec'd this up, and say put a 1050 Ti in it for another, you know, I don't know, 100 quid or so, then I might, for 50, 100 quid, I might have done it. But at the end of the day, I don't regret this purchase. This is my first gaming laptop, and you know, I'm really happy with it, to be honest with you. As I said, I was agonising for ages. Do I buy Dell? Do I buy HP? Do I get a 1050? Do I get a 965M? Do I get a 1070? Because as I said, for ages, I'd convinced myself I needed the OMEN 15 with the 1078 gig. But for what I would use it for, it's overkill. And to be honest with you, being a 17-inch laptop, it'd probably break my lap if I tried to use it as a laptop. With regards to battery life, I've not really used it on battery a huge amount. But battery, when I have used it, lowest I've had it on battery for an hour or two of just general browsing, and you know, I've had it get down to about 80%, so it's fairly decent on battery. You know, there are better out there, but again, this is a bloody powerful machine to be running on battery. The power adapter is a 150 watt power adapter, and when you are gaming on it, it will get warm. You can actually feel it get uncomfortably hot, but the rest of the laptop generally stays fairly cool. A lot of laptops, some people are saying, oh, the keyboard and trackpad area gets really warm, and I don't notice that on here. Bear in mind, I am playing with a control pad, but I'm touching the keyboard now and trackpad area, and it's a little bit warm at the arrow keys, but not uncomfortably so. My old MacBook Pro, when I played games on that, was hitting 90 degrees CPU, and being an all-metal laptop, it was burning. It was not very nice at all. So, yeah, in terms of general comfort while gaming, yeah, this thing scores very well. I don't know what more I can say about this. Oh, yeah, bloatware. Bear in mind, I've been a Mac user since 2005 now, and so I've come from a system which was obviously designed and built by Apple, you know, hardware, software all tied together. And when I left Windows, obviously it was still XP, filled with all bloatware and nastiness, and that was the one thing what was holding me back getting a Windows laptop. I have to admit, this laptop is relatively free of bloatware. The only thing on here, oh, hello, my graphics went a bit funky then. There you go, probably 2 gig of VRAM, there we go. I've never seen that happen before, so I presume it's because I'm streaming at the same time. But with, what was I saying before the graphics went funny? Oh, Christ, I've forgotten now. Bear with me, let's see if I can fix this graphic issue. That was quite off-putting. It's never done that before when I've played this, so I can only put it down to the fact that I'm using OBS to stream at the moment. So let me just fucking deal with this geezer. Hey. Yeah. Knuckle dusty, you prick. But yeah, there you go. That was probably the 2 gig of VRAM causing those texture popping, but I've not had that in the entire time that I've played the game. So I think it's purely because I'm live streaming and I've got Afterburner up at the same time. So yeah. I did have a bit of stuttering in this game when I first played it, and what sorted it out for me was setting a second page file. I had a page file on the standard Windows boot drive, but I went into the page file settings and I also set a second one on the data drive. So I've got 2 system managed page files, one on the SSD and one on the hard drive, and that seemed to alleviate most of the stuttering I was getting on this game. I still tend to get a bit of stuttering if I go into a multi-story car park, but you know, that's about it. Again, a game like this, which is massive, open world and lots going on, I suppose, unless you've got like the most powerful computer in the world, you're still going to have a few issues with it. But yeah, as you can see, generally, you know, 60 frames a second, absolutely perfect, no problems at all. I totally forgot what I was going to say though with regards to what I was saying before when the text just popped in, so I do apologise for that. It's a bit of a crappy review. But as you can see, I'm just doing this off the cuff whilst spanking a car around Los Santos at the same time. So, you know, this is more of an informal review. But I'm just hoping that just talking about it might inform your buying decision, because there's not much information out on these 1050 and 1050 Ti laptops at the moment because of the nature of the beast. This thing's only been out available to buy for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. The Dell is the only other one I think you can actually buy at the moment. I believe MSI, Asus, Acer have all got them at pre-order at the moment, and Lenovo, and I don't think they're due out until middle of next month. But general larking about, you know, as I said, I'm playing AAA game at the moment, and you know, I've completed it, no problems at all. You know, so yeah, I'm quite, as I said, really happy with the computer. As I said, it's like anything. How much do you want to spend? For me, I didn't have a huge budget. For me, this thing fits in perfectly with how much I wanted to pay. As I said, I was researching it for months and months and months. You know, I could have gone absolutely mad and bought I could have spent 200 quid more, got a 1050 Ti, would have got much more better performance out of it than this. A little bit maybe. I think the Ti is about 10 frames a second more on average. You know, and 200 quid for 10 frames is, you know, is it worth it? And in my opinion, probably not. For £800, I highly recommend this. You're not being ripped off, and it is probably one of the cheapest machines out there with this spec in it. As I said, at £800, you're looking really at last year's models with the 960M, 965 if you're lucky. But yeah, you're not going to get a much higher spec laptop for that kind of money. Well, I hope my random nonsensical ravings about this laptop over the last few minutes have been useful and enlightening. But well, if not, then I'm sorry I wasted your time. But when I upload this to YouTube, feel free to leave any comments in the any questions in the comments below, and I will try to answer them as best I can. I'm not absolutely made of money, so don't go asking me to benchmark a load of games that I don't own, because I just don't have the money to pay for them. Unless you're willing to buy them for me, then I will benchmark them. But at the end of the day, for what I play, it works, and it works rather well. So yeah, I hope this has been a useful video. As I'm streaming on Twitch, I shall probably continue for a bit and just have a bit of a rampage. For the YouTube viewers, I'll see if I can cut this up in the YouTube editor so you're not seeing the rest of the boringness. And yeah, well, I hope that helps. And thank you for watching.